We talk a lot about the AI gap. Usually we mean older generations trying to catch up with new technology. But what if I told you there's another, more hidden AI gap, and it's affecting the youngest, most tech-savvy generation, the so-called digital natives? We assume that because they grew up with smartphones in their hands, they're automatically equipped to handle the rise of artificial intelligence. They know how to use the tools, right? They can generate essays, create images, and get instant answers to any question. So what's the problem? The problem isn't about skill, it's about trust. The real danger facing young people today isn't that they don't know how to use AI, it's that they don't know how to question it, think about it. For decades, getting an answer required effort. You had to go to the library, look through an encyclopedia, or ask an expert. That process had friction, and that friction created space for critical thinking. You had to evaluate your sources. You had to synthesize information. You had to decide what was credible and what wasn't. But today's AI tools remove all of that. They deliver a single, confident, well-written answer in seconds. There's no friction, no apparent need to doubt. The AI sounds so sure of itself, so authoritative. And when you dag on a tight deadline for a school project or just want a quick fact, that confident, instant answer is incredibly seductive. This is the new AI gap, the chasm between being able to operate a tool and having the wisdom to critically evaluate its output. We've given a generation the world's most powerful information machine without teaching them that its primary function is not to be right, but to be convincing. Let's use an analogy: the calculator. When calculators became common in schools, there was a huge debate. People worried that kids would forget how to do basic math, but we didn't ban calculators. Instead, we taught math fundamentals alongside how to use the tool. Why? We didn't learn long division just to suffer through it. We learned it so we could develop a sense of what numbers mean. So that if you punch 50 times 5 into a calculator and it spits out 2500, your brain immediately flags that something is wrong. You have the mental framework to say, wait, that can't be right, and you check your work. You know the process so you can spot a faulty outcome. That's the skill we need to build for AI. We need to give young people the mental framework to spot when an AI's answer just doesn't feel right. The danger isn't using the calculator, it's believing the calculator when you accidentally typed an extra zero. The danger with AI isn't using it to help write an essay, it is trusting it completely when it confidently includes a fake historical event or a non-existent scientific study. AI doesn't think like we do. It's a predictive engine. It's designed to string words together in a way that is statistically probable, based on the vast amount of data it was trained on. It's a master of mimicry, not a beacon of truth. It will generate citations to articles that don't exist. It will state incorrect facts with the same polished confidence as it states correct ones. Why? Because its goal isn't accuracy. Its goal is to provide a plausible-sounding response. It has no concept of truth or falsehood. And that's a really subtle but incredibly important distinction that many users, especially younger ones, might miss. They see a well-structured paragraph with perfect grammar and assume the information within it must be equally perfect. This is where we move from a useful assistant to a dangerous crutch. The risk isn't that students will use AI to cheat. The bigger risk is that they will use it to think, that the habit of questioning, researching, and synthesizing will be replaced by the habit of prompting, copying, and pasting. This shift has profound implications. If a generation grows up outsourcing their thinking to a machine that can be wrong, biased, or even manipulative, what happens to their ability to navigate a complex world? How do they distinguish real news from sophisticated misinformation? How do they form their own unique opinions if their starting point is always a predigested, algorithmically generated summary? The skills that AI erodes are the very skills necessary for a functioning democracy: critical thought, media literacy, and the ability to grapple with nuance and ambiguity. The world is not a series of simple, confident answers. It's messy, complicated, and full of conflicting information. Learning to navigate that mess is a fundamental part of growing up. But AI tidies up the mess. It presents a clean, simple, and often wrong version of reality. By over-relying on it, we risk raising a generation that is unprepared for the beautiful, frustrating complexity of the real world. They become excellent users of a tool but poor thinkers. So what's the solution? This isn't a call to ban AI or to fear technology. That ship has sailed, and frankly, it's the wrong approach. The solution isn't technological, it's educational. It's philosophical. We need to urgently update our definition of digital literacy. It can no longer just be about how to use the software. It must be about how to think while using the software. We need to teach AI literacy in schools, right alongside reading, writing, and arithmetic. This means teaching students how these models work, not in a deeply technical way, but conceptually. Explain that AI is a prediction machine, not an oracle. We need to design assignments that require students to use AI, but then critique its output. For example, ask them to generate an AI essay and then fact-check every single claim, identify its biases and write a report on its flaws. Make spotting the AI's mistakes part of the grade. This transforms the tool from a shortcut to an object of study. It recenters the human, the student, as the critical thinker in the loop. The goal is not to stop them from using AI, but to empower them to use it wisely, skeptically, and creatively. We need to shift our focus from "don't use AI" to "how do you know that's true?" We need to praise questioning more than we praise quick answers. In our homes and classrooms, we can model this behavior. When a child uses an AI to find an answer, the next question should always be, "Interesting. How can we double-check that?" Or, "What other perspectives might the AI have missed?" This small habit builds a mental muscle of skepticism. It teaches that the first answer is the start of an inquiry, not the end of it. It's about cultivating a healthy, informed distrust of automated systems. It's about remembering that convenience is not the same as correctness, and that efficiency should never come at the cost of understanding. The true skill for the 21st century isn't prompt engineering, it's critical thinking. The challenge we face is not about keeping up with technology. It's about ensuring our timeless human values, curiosity, skepticism, and the pursuit of truth, are not rendered obsolete by the speed and convenience of a machine. This hidden AI gap, this gap between use and wisdom, is the real challenge for the next generation. But the good news is, it's entirely preventable. It doesn't require new hardware or software. It requires a shift in mindset, a commitment from educators, parents, and all of us to prioritize not just digital fluency, but digital wisdom. Let's not just teach our kids to be digital natives. Let's teach them to be digital detectives, constantly questioning, verifying, and thinking for themselves. Because in the age of AI, the most powerful tool we have is still the one between our ears. Thanks for watching. If this idea resonated with you, consider subscribing for more discussions on technology and our future. See you next time.